great for in crowds, but people find me very stressful in lifts. Oh, it's great to be here. Are we having a good night? Yeah, I'm not. I got into a massive argument with my friend today. He said to me, Simon! That wasn't the joke. Simon! You always get sayings wrong. I said to him, mate, you've hit the nail right below the belt. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm worried this difference of opinion could drive a hedge between us. But we'll cross that bridge when we burn it. Because of the big argument I had with my friend, though, I was late leaving for today's gig. But I've got a great little tip for you guys, right? If you're ever late for something, here's what you do. Right, you wait for an ambulance to drive past, yeah? And then you drive really close to the back of it looking sad. It's amazing, they think you must be a family member, you never get a ticket. Today, I got a police escort. Yeah. One of them complimented the jumper I was wearing. I think he did anyway. He kept pointing at it and going, pull over, pull over! I mean, there are pros and cons to this system, I'll be perfectly honest. Like, you know, on one of the cons today, like, you can't always decide where you're going. That's one of the problems with the system. Like, today I ended up at a horrific car accident in Swindon. But on the plus side, I was there early. So, with the police following me, though, it made it quite difficult to slip away. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to convince a dying old woman that you're her son. It is not easy. One of the paramedics said, "What's her name?" I said, "It's Barbara." A little voice came out of the wreckage. She went, "My name's Lynn." "Shut the fuck up, Barbara." Second paramedic said, "How do you know her?" I said, "I'm her son." She went, "I haven't got a son." I said, "Sorry, she's got a touch of dementia." Police officer chimed up at that point. It was like, if she's got dementia, she shouldn't be driving. I said, "I know that, but she's clearly forgotten, hasn't she?" Then her actual son turns up. Turns out her name was Barbara and she did have dementia. That was a fucking plot twist. I managed to get out of there, managed to make it here. Ready for some comedy! Yeah! I love doing comedy, but you can't do comedy nowadays, can you? Can't do comedy nowadays. People are like, man, you can't punch down in comedy. You can't punch down and insult people that are below you, which is obviously problematic for guys like me. Because I'm a vegan. Everyone's beneath me. They say you're supposed to love your audience, but you guys are pieces of shit. I'm only joking. I'm not one of those kinds of vegans. They're about, aren't they? Those kinds of vegans. They're about all over the place. I did that joke at a gig the other week. A whole bunch of them came up to me after the show, absolutely furious. They were going, "Man, you can't say stuff like that. You're perpetuating negative stereotypes about vegans. Making people just think we're angry all the time." Honestly, they were so mad I thought they were going to follow me home and egg my house. What do vegans do when they're angry at you?
Aubergine your house.
Yeah, I was going to say they throw like scrambled tofu. It's got turmeric in it, you'll never get the stains out. I love doing comedy. I get to travel a lot. Travel all over this brilliant nation of ours. I love England, right? England's a great country. But we live in a divided nation, ladies and gentlemen, don't we? We live in a divided nation. One of the big divides we've got in England, the north-south divide. You know, a lot of people argue about the north-south divide, and when I'm travelling all over Britain, meeting different people, no one can really decide where the north-south divide is. You know, I do a gig in one place, and they're like, we're in the north, and then I go slightly more north, and they're like, nah, you're in the south, we're in the north. And you go slightly more north, and they're like, nah, they're in the south, we're in the north. It makes it confusing, you know, because when I'm driving home from a gig up north, I never really know where the north ends, and civilization begins. If you ask me, the answer's Calais. My girlfriend doesn't like that joke. She said to me, Simon, I don't like any of that joke. I said, why? What's wrong with it? She said, first off, I'm from the north, and I don't think you should judge people based on where they were born. So, you know what? That is absolutely fair enough. What's wrong with the second part of the joke? She said, I don't like the French. But this is a lovely venue we've got here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Big up Malmesbury for having the old art centre and the bar and everything. Oh, it's great. Like, it's not always like that doing comedy, you know? You never really know where you're going to go. Right? You never know what venue you're going to arrive to. And that makes me nervous, right? It makes me nervous because of, well, one key thing, right, is the toilet situation, right? Yeah, I never know what the toilets are going to be like when I arrive at a gig, right? And that worries me because, well, I'm a stalls guy, right? Yeah, don't use the urinals. I don't like the urinals. Like the urinals, they're too close together. Like proper men are going to be like looking over at what you're doing. You know, gets me all worried. I get a bit of performance anxiety. And it gets all shaky. And, you know, it's already difficult enough racking up a line of coke on the back of a urinal. It's no way to do cocaine. Now I'm going to tell you a little story tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you a little story about how I got into doing stand-up comedy, right? This story starts 3 and a bit years ago, when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, right? Now, I'll tell you a little bit about her. She was super cool. She had this cool style. She was quite androgynous. And she had one of those names that's like a guy's name. Dave. But we broke up, right? We broke up for the right reasons. You know, we broke up because she was trying to make me something I'm not. Celibate. But nah, like, you know, I'll be honest, like, when it came to sex, we didn't really see eye to eye, right? Yeah, me and her, we didn't really see eye to eye. Like, both of us wanted different things, you know. I said to her, like, oh, babe, when it comes to sex, I really want you to go the extra mile. And to be fair to her, she did. You know, she started fucking a guy down the road. So I decided, right, yeah, now we broke up at the end of 2019, right, yeah, we broke up in November 2019. So I decided to do two things at that point, right? One was I was going to take up stand-up comedy, so I sat down and I wrote my first set of jokes, right? The second thing I decided to do, heading into the year 2020, right, was stop watching the news. Yeah. I decided to cut myself off entirely from current affairs, right, yeah? So I stand up at my first few gigs and everyone's going, what do you think about this COVID stuff? I was like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Life is going to be plain sailing for the next 2 years. Turned out that wasn't the case, was it? Right? Yeah? Like, we had a chaos theory. Right? Here, people have heard, right, some people are nodding, yeah, some people have heard the chaos theory. For anyone who doesn't know, chaos theory is the theory that everything has a reaction and that can lead to a chain reaction of events. Right? Yeah, they get worse and worse, right? So like a butterfly flapping its wings on one side of the planet could cause a chain reaction of events that causes a tsunami on the other side of the planet. Right? I think we all experienced that in 2020, didn't we? You know, except instead of a butterfly flapping its wings, it was a guy in China eating bat wing soup. You know, and then we were all made to stay inside, yeah, for a whole year, right? And I tried my best. I tried my best to follow the rules. I don't know how everyone here did, but like, I tried my best to follow the rules even though some of those rules were batshit mental, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like, there were some crazy rules that went on during that period. My favourite rule, my number one favourite rule during that period was if you were getting married during COVID, the couple involved had to antibacterial wipe their hands before the exchange of rings. You know what they're going to go home and do that evening, right? Like, weirdly, the couple in the full rubber gimp suits were the only one following the rules properly. No, I did. I locked myself down. I thought, you know what? I can treat myself. I can do a little bit of flirting. So I got myself onto Tinder. Now, me and my girlfriend, me and my ex, our relationship goes way back. Our relationship predates Tinder. So I've never experienced any of basically what I'm trying to say is I've never sent a dick pic. It wasn't something I had to do when I was last dating. Like the last time I was dating, if I wanted to send a dick pic, I would have had to have taken a picture of it on my mum's digital camera, upload it to the family PC, transfer it to my phone and text it to the girl via a multimedia message. You know, technology's moved on, hasn't it? It's got too easy for people to send dick pics now. People are doing it willy-nilly. That's my favourite joke, so there we go. But I'd always thought, if I'm perfectly honest, I always thought dick pics were one of those things that kind of got exaggerated, kind of got blown out of proportion. I asked a friend at work if it was something guys genuinely did. She showed me an album of dick pics. Just saved on her phone. An album of dick pics. She had a compendium of cock, if you will. She had a folder of phallus. She had a wallet of wangs. I've got loads of these guys, I'm gonna get on board. She had a binder of bell ends. She had a miscellany of members. She had a jiffy of Johnson. I promise I'll move on. One guy had sent her a picture of his dick from so many different angles, you could have scanned them into a 3D printer and made an exact replica of his actual penis. That's got to be incriminating somehow, hasn't it? There's got to be a crime we can fit him up for with the imprint of a penis. Like nothing serious, we'll rob a house and in the soft mud outside that rub the penis into the dirt. The duty sergeant will turn up, have we managed to find any footprints? Someone's going to go, no, but you're going to want to see this. Police will end up with the mould of the perpetrator's penis. They'll have to go around the country and find the penis that fits the mould. Like some grotesque abomination of the Cinderella story. Does it fit? Does it fit? Does it fit? We're finding the penis that fits the mold. Finding the penis that fits the mold. Will it be young or will it be old? We're finding the penis that fits the mold. Thank you. If anyone is from Disney, do give me a call, because we've got a great shout at your next movie. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolute fucking pleasure. I've been Simon, have a lovely fucking evening!